Leadership Episode 6, Be Cool. The B-Team chases Dragstrip through a forest after he steals an artifact from one of Windblade's caches. Strongarm complains when Sideswipe splashes her with mud, but Sideswipe soon lands face first in a bog. Dragstrip gets stuck in deep mud, and as the Autobots catch up, Sideswipe moves to arrest him, only for Dragstrip to ignite a methane bubble. The resulting explosion sends Dragstrip fleeing with the artifact, stunned to see his pursuers merged into a single massive robot. The Autobots regain consciousness, panic setting in, while a Minicon seizes Sideswipe's Decepticon hunter Bumblebee rallies the team. But when Sideswipe tries to grab Drift, the Combiner crashes into a tree, separating the team. Oddly, Sideswipe has split into two versions, one aggressive, one meek. Bumblebee contacts Fix-It via ground bridge, and back at the scrapyard, the two Sideswipes are kept apart while Fix-It works on solutions. Meanwhile, Dragstrip arrives at a deserted base, demonstrating a gravitic adjuster to Wildbreak before Motormaster signals it's time to confront the Autobots. One Sideswipe complains about being stuck in a permanent bear hug from Grimlock, who insists he'll only release him on Bumblebee's command. The other Sideswipe argues that they're two halves of the same bot and must cooperate to be effective, but his counterpart isn't convinced. Meanwhile, Dragstrip speeds through the desert looking for a target that will draw both Autobots and humans' attention. Settling on a highway patrol barracks, Strongarm and Drift track the stolen relic without the main console, discussing the Sideswipe dilemma, while Fix-It theorizes that the radiation from the Heatseeker battle altered the Autobots' physiology. They work on a way to trigger the combination without an explosion. Sideswipe realizes his Decepticon hunter is missing, and Fix-It detects a distress call from the highway patrol Bumblebee, initially hesitates to bring the Sideswipes, but they and Strongarm convince him. Elsewhere, the Minicon sends the stolen hunter through a ground bridge to Soundwave. Dragstrip begins using the gravitic adjuster on the station as the Autobots arrive, prompting Bumblebee to send Strongarm and Sideswipe to evacuate it. Drift and Grimlock are pinned by the gravitic adjuster, and when Bumblebee tries to charge Dragstrip, he's zapped too. Dragstrip continues blasting Bumblebee while dreaming of duplicating the relic for profit, until Grimlock bounces a rock off his head, making him drop the artifact. At the trooper station, the Sideswipes argue until one saves the other from falling rubble, finally reaching an understanding just as Strongarm is knocked down by more debris. As Dragstrip moves to finish her off, the Sideswipes execute a plan. One distracts the Stunticon, while the other zooms in and knocks him out. They collect the unconscious Strongarm and rejoin the team, with the aggressive Sideswipe begging Bumblebee not to reveal how they succeeded together. Later, Fix-It wires the Sideswipes into a device meant to restore them. Despite their panic over Drift's pointed questions about its reliability, the device activates, surges with light, and leaves Sideswipe whole, healthy, and fully restored. Fix-It searches for help sorting capacitor sprockets and finds Strongarm weightlifting forklifts. When she mentions missing the academy, Fix-It brings up a list of specialties so she can choose one, though she can't decide. A Decepticon alarm sounds, and Fix-It traces it to a construction site. The Autobots arrive just after the con has moved in. Bumblebee sends Strongarm and Drift to cover the gate while he leads the others inside. Grimlock finds a busted explosives locker, but is attacked from behind. Bumblebee and Sideswipe arrive moments later, though the con is gone and Fix-It can't locate it. Strongarm recalls her instructor Dropforge's lessons and asks to try detective work. She photographs the scene and finds auto paint on a tree. Back at the scrapyard, Fix-It wires Grimlock and Drift for a combiner experiment, temporarily fusing them. Strongarm uses her deductions to track a car matching the paint, and, with Denny and Russell, interviews a witness who mentions shinies and Step 1. Bumblebee encourages Strongarm, who suggests the next target might be the Crown City Armory, though she doubts the idea might be too simple. Unsure of the con's nature, the team stakes out the armory. Their doubts are cut short by an explosion, revealing the con as a Crow Decepticon. Strongarm gives chase, using an unfinished overpass to gain height and take down the flying Decepticon. While Grimlock ensures the con stays down, Fixit identifies the Decepticon as Boostwing. Inside, Crustacean continues searching for his missing Shanix, and Strongarm recognizes him from the most wanted list. Bumblebee, Strongarm, and Sideswipe move in, but Crustacean easily knocks Strongarm and Sideswipe aside before getting his claw stuck in a railing. Bumblebee reaches for his missing Decepticon hunter, then switches to his blaster, but Crustacean frees himself using eye lasers and demands to know where his stolen loot is. Outside, the con crushes Drift and escapes, while Grimlock's attack attempt fails. The Autobots split up to track him down. Meanwhile, Bumblebee finds the human workers hiding nearby and assures them they're safe. Back at base, Fixit connects his video game to the command center, attempting to reprogram it, or as Russell says, cheat. The plan fails, earning Fixit yet another game over. Meanwhile, Bumblebee's team discovers Crustacean raiding the rest of Windblade's cache, blasting it open with his eye lasers. When no Shanix appear, he angrily tosses the contents aside, accidentally causing an explosion that alerts the Autobots Crustacean flees into an ice cave, but when he hits a dead end, he collapses the ceiling on them. Grimlock recalls Drift's teachings and, surprisingly, uses his tail to knock down a stalactite, freeing the team with thermoswords from their Decepticon hunters. Sideswipe and Strongarm finish breaking out, and they resume the chase. Outside, the glacier begins collapsing. Bumblebee, Drift, and Grimlock dive underwater, where Crustacean digs into the seabed. Grimlock finally masters Drift's technique, using Crustacean's own claws to knock him out. The Autobots save the humans, secure the caches, and return home, while Fixit accidentally destroys his game. A Decepticon speeds down a forest road with the B team in pursuit. Strongarm, Sideswipe, and Blur bicker over who should make the arrest until Fixit radios them with information. The target is a Skunkticon named Zorilor darts into a cave, shooting at the Autobots while mentioning his pal. So Bumblebee leaves Strongarm and Drift to check for other exits and leads Sideswipe and Blur inside Sideswipe's spots, a spike-filled pit hidden by a hologram, but accidentally triggers a tripwire. The trio narrowly escapes as the cave walls start closing in, only to find their way out blocked. Meanwhile, Zorilor prepares to flee but runs into Drift and Strongarm. He sprays them with blinding liquid, yet Drift, relying on his training, disarms the Skunkticon until Jetstorm and Slipstream capture him, forcing him to drop a mysterious yellow sphere. Back at the scrapyard, the Autobots and Fixit analyze it, discovering it matches the legendary Sphere of Doradus, containing a city map but dangerous if mishandled. The team resolves to return it to Cybertron, with plenty volunteering. That night, Denny finds Bumblebee guarding the sphere and acting strangely. When Bumblebee accuses him of trying to steal it, they realize the sphere is missing. Strongarm tries to sneak off with it, prompting Bumblebee to tackle her, and soon the rest of the team joins, sparking a chaotic struggle. Grimlock grabs the sphere and runs, with Sideswipe and Strongarm in pursuit, while Denny and Russell follow in Denny's truck. On an elevated highway, possession passes rapidly between Grimlock, Sideswipe, and Strongarm until Springload suddenly appears and escapes with it. Out of range, the Autobots shake off the sphere's influence, and Fixit warns that opening it could destroy the city. The team races to a particle accelerator, wrapping the sphere in foil to block its emissions. After a final struggle, they subdue Springload, and the sphere shatters back at the scrapyard. They dump the pieces in a compactor, unaware a holographic map flickers briefly before disappearing. In a forest clearing, Dragstrip and Wildbreak discuss a device Dragstrip borrowed from Motormaster, hoping to use it to track Cybertronian technology and earn favor with their boss. Despite Wildbreak's concern that the target is in the middle of a human city, the pair set off to retrieve it. Meanwhile, in the scrapyard, Fixit searches for parts to build a new Decepticon hunter for Bumblebee, but comes up empty-handed. Following Bumblebee's suggestion, he checks Windblade's caches for confiscated weapons. Blur races past, narrowly missing Denny and Russell, and celebrates with Sideswipe after retrieving pistons in record time. The rescue bots want Blur back, but Sideswipe keeps him busy with chores under the guise of training. Feeling sidelined, Bumblebee complains to Denny that he doesn't feel one of the bots. Their conversation is interrupted when Fixit discovers records of a Decepticon hunter in West Rock, a densely populated island city. Bumblebee decides to take only Strongarm, leaving Blur disappointed. On the way to West Rock, Bumblebee asks Strongarm if the rest of the team considers him cool, but she awkwardly changes the subject. Meanwhile, Dragstrip and Wildbreak track the cache's energy signature to a storage facility. Breaking into a unit, Dragstrip discovers it appears empty until he crashes through the floor, triggering defense systems that briefly freeze him. Wildbreak frees him, and when Bumblebee and Strongarm arrive, they find Wildbreak in vehicle mode attached to a trailer full of tech. Bumblebee tries a cool arrest, but Strongarm calls for backup. Dragstrip uses Wildbreak to disrupt the Autobots' stabilizers, knocking them over, and is pleased with the captured Autobots and cache contents. Just as he contemplates a promotion, Sideswipe, Blur, and Drift arrive via ground bridge. Grimlock's sudden appearance forces Wildbreak to flee, and Dragstrip blows up the remaining cache before following. The Autobots extinguish the fire and split up to track the cons, but Bumblebee's plan to beat them to the bridge via drainage tunnels fails when the path is blocked, leaving his cool recovery less than impressive. Blastwave recently escaped from Trypticon prison. Strongarm vows to protect her. The Minicon opens a ground bridge portal to Soundwave, who berates him for failing to secure the Decepticon hunter and orders him to return. Frightened, the Minicon flees, with Soundwave threatening termination. Back at the scrapyard, Bumblebee is annoyed Strongarm didn't check with him, but agrees to help. Nitra doubts Blastwave will appear, until a ground bridge opens and Blastwave steps out. Grimlock tackles him before he can fire on Nitra, who flees. Fixit works to shut down the portal as the Autobots try to battle Blastwave, who tosses them around before disappearing again. Fixit locates Blastwave's ship in orbit, and the team sets out to find Nitra. Strongarm follows a hunch to Crown City, tracing Nitra's signal to the Colossus and evacuating the car park. Nitra decloaks, claiming she was drawing Blastwave away, but he appears again, grabs her, and disappears. The Autobots board Blastwave's ship, where Nitra tries to jettison the cargo bay. They realize Blastwave is actually an Autobot using Cybertronian sign language. Despite Nitra's illusions and tricks, Strongarm outsmarts her, cuffs her, and the team returns to Earth, with Bumblebee praising Strongarm's efforts. Bumblebee and Strongarm find Grimlock in the scrapyard, proudly showing off a sculpture he's made of Strongarm. She's unimpressed, but Grimlock insists she doesn't understand art. Suddenly, an alarm sounds. Fixit detects a mysterious signal from an island off England. Excited by the connection to movies he's been watching with Russell, Fixit begs to join Bumblebee on the mission, borrowing Strongarm's Decepticon hunter as a makeshift sword. On the island, they encounter Titus and Vernon, medieval reenactors, and Fixit persuades them that Bumblebee is a time-traveling knight, though he's frustrated to be called just a squire. Their roleplay is interrupted when a lizard-like Decepticon, Flamesnort, emerges, breathing fire. Bumblebee shields the humans, while the Con demands to know the size of the incoming Autobot army. Unable to get answers, the Decepticon departs, and Bumblebee instructs the humans to leave. Fixit, still unable to gather intel, sings like a bard, while Bumblebee continues the search. Meanwhile, back at the scrapyard, Grimlock celebrates his Strongarm sculpture being sold. Bumblebee engages Flamesnort, feigning injury to keep him occupied while Fixit works to free the humans. Grimlock, talking about himself in the third person, frustrates Strongarm so much she drives off to avoid becoming another sculpture. Bumblebee bluffs Flamesnort, claiming the Autobot fleet is 2 days out, prompting the Decepticon to focus on finishing him off. During the fight, a piece of key-like tech falls from Flamesnort's arm, which he reclaims. Fixit attempts a one-on-one challenge but is knocked aside. The humans escape by boat, and Bumblebee prevents Flamesnort from harming Fixit before the Con retreats. The Autobots realize Flamesnort is extremely old, unaware the war has ended, and track him to a cave.